All right, fellas, what's going on? Hey, this is Brian, aka Uncle B, and welcome to Goodwood University. We're talking about those office hours. Right now, we're getting into what we always do. We're talking about men's sexual performance, men's sexual health, all the things that you need to know in order to get better. And this is what we do around here at Goodwood University. And today we're going to be talking about uh, Goodwood stacking. We're talking about how you can stack herbal supplements so that you're getting the best out of them. And guys, I got to tell you, oh man, it's been a week. It's been a time. It's been interesting because, we've been talking about uh, we've been talking about things just lining up the way that they need to line up. We're talking about all the things that you need to know. And really, I want to tell you guys, like I told you last time, yesterday to be exact, we're talking about things that are going on in terms of, as a man, what we're being challenged with. That's the reason why we have the Wood on Demand Challenge. I've been going through for the past couple of weeks because, we've been throttled on YouTube, as in, our videos have been held back because we're talking about men's health and how to get better naturally. And obviously, we have some people out there that don't like that. They don't like you being healthy. They want you going to the gas station and get those pills on. uh, and we're talking about being dropped off of Amazon for um, right before Christmas, because basically, we're trying to sell all natural herbal supplements. And it's like, well, you got to go through a whole lot. And I get that because there's some bad actors out there, and we want to make sure that we're on top of our game. But, they're coming after us. We couldn't run our YouTube ads the way we want to. And, recently we had our merchant account came under attack. Basically, they were saying that you're selling male supplements. We're like, okay, cool. We got our paperwork. We should be all good. And then they were like, oh, you're also selling coaching services. And they call our coaching services sexual experience services. I'm like, hold up, we're talking about health. We're not talking about, just having sex. I mean, that's part of the whole your body has to work in order for all this to work. So this is what we have been going through. Yep, there we go. All right, lost connection there for a second, but yeah, guys, I want you to know that the reason why these things are happening, the reason why you see it in the world that where we're not being represented well, is because we're masculine. When you talk about masculinity, you're talking about structure, discipline, accountability, responsibility, dependability, all the things that respectability, all the things that are essential for the world to work and for other people to take over the world. They need to remove us. And what's a better way to remove men than to just attack our health? And so they rather have us on those petrochemicals. That's pharmaceuticals or petrochemicals. They just figured out how to take oil and turn it into things that we can stick into our body that doesn't really work well. um, and so, yeah, those are the things that we have to worry about. Hey, yeah, I got you, Yankee. Uh-huh. I think we're live back with the sound. If we have no sound, please let me know in the comment section. Oh, by the way, this is what we do. We do answer all types of questions. If you have questions about any level of sexual health, if you have ED, you have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, you have prostate issues, erections getting up when you need them to, all those different things. That's what we talk about. And, that's what we handle around here. And oh, by the way, we do have a Wood on Demand challenge that's going on right now. If you go into the comment section, and we're right down there, you can go ahead and click that link and find out more information. But what we're going to talk about today is how to stack herbal supplements so that you're getting the best out of it, so that you can get the best out of your wood. And that's because we don't want you to just depend on one thing for the rest of your life. When it comes to herbal supplements, it's supposed to supplement the other things that you do. That's what the Wood on Demand Challenge does. It actually shows you the things that you're supposed to do over a 30-day period. So you get the blueprint for yourself on how you're supposed to work correctly. Um, and so, we're talking about how to balance your hormones, how to get your body to the point that your erections, are on autopilot. We're talking about erections on demand. We're talking about morning erections. We're talking about spontaneous erections. All of those things count. I do want to give a quick shout out to Trinidad Rodriguez, Raphael Hardwick, William Powell, Troy Hamilton. The guys been in comment sections, making just letting us know what's going on with them, and we appreciate that. And so when we're talking about, hey, what's going on? J10H, hey, good to see you again, bro. All right. Jonathan Deal, what's going on with you? Uh-huh. The Bahamas is in the house. Love it, man. Love it. Yeah. So just give you a quick history on, when we're talking about what we've been doing with supplements over these years, what we mainly focus in on is just getting as close to the source as possible, because that's the best way to get health into your body. We talk about processed foods and all this other kind of stuff, how bad it is for you. The opposite end of that is just foods that get energy from the sun. That's all plants. You, everything gets energy from the sun. And so when we're consuming that, we're getting the best out of nature. The closer we can get to that, the better we actually are. And so those are the type of supplements that we promote, the type of supplements that we come out with. And we initially came out with African fly, which we call the cousin of, Spanish fly. Spanish fly was actually a crust beetle. And so what we do is we went in and we just got the best herbs that we could find, put it into a liquid formula. And, we called it African fly, since several of the herbs are originated from Africa. And we changed the name to Goodwood just because it's easier for people to understand. It's literally that simple. Um, and so, what we want to make sure you understand is that when it comes to supplements, there is the possibility of stacking them. I mean, there's a reason why we have 8 different herbs in Goodwood and 9 different herbs in Goodwood Advanced, because when you stack herbs, they actually start performing better. Not only do we have the yohimbe, the ginger, the sarsaparilla, the damiana, we have several different herbs in there. We also talk about other herbs that also work well with you too, because every one of them has a different benefit, and you need to understand how they work together. And so some things that you need to understand, specifically what we're trying to do when it comes to supplements for men, is that we're trying to get to that whole point of getting that hormonal balance, to getting that testosterone stacking up, getting better. The goal is to get your testosterone level to the highest that it can possibly get to. And what is the reason for that? It's because the bursting and burning of testosterone is what fuels erections. In terms of testosterone, especially for men, our testosterone levels should be between 600 to 800 and above. That's that difference between men and women. Women's testosterone levels are average between 50 to 70, and men's should average between 600 to 800. And, that difference shows in muscularity, hair, beard, all the things that make a man. And so we need to make sure that that's there. The opposite of that isn't estrogen. A lot of people think that testosterone and estrogen are in conflict with each other. We need both, but testosterone particularly deals with cortisol. And right now we have a cortisol overload just because of the level of stress, everything that's coming into our bodies. We have to deal with that. Today's lifestyle makes it so much more difficult to deal with that cortisol. Uh, and so we have to make sure we're good with understanding all of this stuff. So, great questions that are popping in already. Please keep the questions coming. JTH, you're always good with that. What do you mean by stack? What I mean by stack is actually what herbs you take with each other, what works in combination, what complements each other, and what is not indicators. Basically, what herbs don't work with each other, what herbs cancel each other out. So, when you're trying to build up your testosterone, there are levels to it. So the reason why we have good wood and good wood advance is because that combination of herbs is designed to work specifically with your body to increase your testosterone and your blood flow. Herbs tend to work better together with each other, and that's what we call stacking. So, um, good wood is a stack. Goodwood Advanced is a stack. However, at the same time, if you're taking supplements like, I got them right here. Oh, there we go. If you're taking like maca, if you're taking like ashwagandha, those also increase your testosterone levels. They work in different ways. So ashwagandha actually relaxes your body to allow your body to it lowers your cortisol to allow your body to have more testosterone, whereas maca just basically increases your testosterone. If you're looking at good wood, it increases your testosterone, your blood flow, and it works as an aphrodisiac. Not all do all three things, and so you're looking for that the testosterone for that build up. You're looking for the better blood flow for your overall health, and the aphrodisiac deals with your mind and as well as your body. So that's what stacking is all about. Great question there, sir. As always, Gregory May, what can you take good wood with? Uh, a good number of things. The things that we want to be careful with are things that actually are going to increase your blood flow too much. Let's say, for example, beetroot is good in terms of being able to increase your nitric oxide, so you expand your blood vessels. You got more blood going through your entire body. Well, yeah, of course you're going to have more blood flow. You're going to have more fun because you got more energy. This is great. However, if you're taking too much, for example, there's a supplement I was taking with Goodwood, and it actually it increased your nitric oxide. It had beetroot in it, but it was almost just a little bit too powerful. It's like I'm used to taking Goodwood. Everything was good. Took this, and it was just like, okay, my heart is racing just a little bit too much. And my whole thing about stacking or just doing anything that we talk about is what good feels good for you. If you feel anything that's negative, go ahead and pull back because there's several other ways that you can get to the goal that you're looking for. So yeah, great question there, sir. Um, and so let's go ahead and talk about sleep because that's necessary. One of the things when you talk about sleep stack, it's not just the herbs, it's talking about the other things you need to do because if you don't have these habits in place in terms of getting to sleep, you have to understand like 40% of men at age 40 and 70% of men at age 70 have ED. It's just, I mean, just imagine at 20, when you're 20 years old, everything's great. When you're 80 years old, it's iffy, really iffy. And uh, so there are things that sleep does that has a huge benefit. Now, I know I was just talking about stack in terms of just adding supplements, but we're talking about the activities that go along with the supplements. You got to supplement the supplements, and so sleep has a huge effect. And so, when you during the day, you're absorbing energy, you're absorbing that sunlight, you're absorbing food, you're absorbing water, you're absorbing the supplements at night, that's when sleep actually multiplies it. So it's very important that you get that sleep in. Is really important. Um, and so if you don't have the sleep, what ends up happening is that you increase your risk of cancer goes up, your immune system goes down. So you need to be getting more than 4 hours of sleep. When we talk about 8 hours of sleep, it can get iffy because when you talk about 8 hours of sleep, a lot of times people think that you have to do that. It's not that for everybody. You know, that's one thing. For me, if I get 8 hours of sleep, it's shocking. I'm just wired that way for whatever reason, and a lot of people are like that. Some people can go to sleep for 12 hours. I've seen somebody do that, and I was like, how is that possible? After 7 hours, I'm just wide awake and can't get back. What's going on, Lloyd? Good evening to you too, sir. Well, good to see you again. Um, and so what you do during the day gets you ready. And so that sleep schedule, you really want to dial in your sleep schedule. The better you are with your sleep schedule, the more likely you are to be able to overcome whatever sexual health issues you have. And guys, I want you to let you know that, those thought processes that, if you're not where you want to be, that you can get there. And that's what we're here for, to make sure you understand that that's there. And um there are things that you may be thinking in terms of like, I can't get back to where I used to be. You can. I've done it myself. I was 5 on our sexual performance scale, that scale of 1 to 10, and sitting there at a 5 was not cute at all. I'm sitting here at a 9 to 10, 6, 7 years later, and that's because I understood and found out the reasons why, and I corrected that. And one of the reasons why, because I was living that cortisol lifestyle. That cortisol lifestyle is when you're just stressed all the time for any number of reasons, whether you dialed up that stress yourself, it came up in your head, you're just imagining the stress, you're putting yourself in stressful situations, you created a stressful lifestyle. Stress puts you in that fight or flight mode. Relaxation puts you to the rest, digest, and sex mode. So, there may be those times where you like feel like, yeah, I was stressed, and so I just, I was wearing her out. And it's like, well, okay, that's not going to keep happening. You can be stressed, but you get too far stressed, it's going to be an issue all around. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Peter? I appreciate you, man. And Gregory, yeah, it is mental. A lot of it is mental. So some simple things that I recommend to all guys to do. Get your relaxation on. I mean, whether it's you figure out some, just background music, not the music that, someone's literally saying, "Hey, I'm going to take your woman from you and possibly kill you." I understand this rap music just gone too, this hippity hop done gone too far. I used to be a rapper. I get it. uh, you want to meditate. I use the Calm app. In fact, one of the exercises that I do now consistently is whenever I get to a point where I'm thinking like, is a bad thought comes into my head, I get stressed, I just stop immediately and just do 3 deep breaths. It's just something that realigns yourself so that the next decisions that you make are better. It's a practice that, you can get into. It actually helps out a lot. So, when I say take notes, this is a note to take. Yeah, because you're going to get stressed regardless of what you do at some point, or whether you're in traffic, whether you're just dealing with, a normal relationship, just taking three breaths before you go into something that can make you make a bad decision and make things worse. So that's the whole point right there, guys. You got to supplement the supplements, and we've been doing this for the past 25 years. So we have an idea of what it takes to get over erection issues. That's once again the reason why we have the Goodwood Challenge, Wood on Demand Challenge. Go ahead, there's a link below. We also have access to the Goodwood and also Goodwood University. So it's all about that because we've been doing this for a while. We're at 100 advanced. Where we at? Like 183,000 plus subscribers and everything. Oh, by the way, could you go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell so we can get some more information to you. Hey, uh Kay Dorsey, he agrees. Yes. So yeah, the whole idea with when we talk about stacking is to get your blood flow increased. And we're talking about a wide range of herbs. And hey, and we even got a great question here from Pacheco. Yeah. Mr. 20, how about that? All right. What are your thoughts on ginseng capsules and sea moss capsules? Great. I have ginseng in my mug right here. I just actually just take the actual ginseng, slice it up, pour hot water over it, and I just sip on it throughout the entire day. It's just great for you. Um, and in terms of a capsule form, prefer that over a pill. For me, the process is it's either going to be the actual root itself, you cut it up, or leaf, depending on which herb you're talking about, or bark, like your henbei or cinnamon. And if you're putting that into a capsule, got it, that's good. You put into a pill, it's a completely different beast altogether. Sea moss capsules. Actually, I like my sea moss in gel form, but the capsules are fine too. It's better for on the go. I understand that process completely. So, but getting that sea moss for me, the combination just on a natural daily basis, I go with beet juice and the sea moss, of course, the good wood and the other supplements that I go with. It all of that works. Sir, you are entirely welcome. Of course, guys, if you got any other questions, go ahead and hit me up in the comment section and let me know. Um, so this is all the things that you need to think about when it comes to that good wood lifestyle. If you're not doing the things you need to do, guys, believe me, it will catch up to you. And this is the thing that's concerning to me, especially because, I see my father, I see him getting up in age and, that whole thing, Bill Burr had a whole bit about a man when he gets older and he's about to stand up. And then you just see yeah, I'm going to rest for a while. That's that whole thing. Your thighs start getting weaker. And it's like, oh man, that's my pops right there. But, that's a real thing that happens. So, me seeing that just encourages me to like, well, encourage him to work out, but also encourages myself to just think through. It's like, hey, you have to do these things. You have to pay attention to your lifestyle because it will catch up to you. I do not want to be one of those people who lives long and is not happy about it. That is a weird thing. I want to be happy about it. Uh-huh. So, uh, Sharon, hey, what's going on, Sharon? What is good for high blood sugar? Avoiding sugar. I know, a lot of times we look for the different herbs that can help with that, but there's Mm, yeah, yeah, and of course, things like ginseng can be helpful. But one of the things that once again is it goes back to your patterns because if you're taking a lot of the different herbs, even foods that you take are going to be anti-inflammatory, going to balance out your glucose. All of those things are going to work. Oh, good morning to you too, Sharon. Um, all of those things are going to work, but it's not going to work if you're over consuming sugar. And the scary thing is that the vast majority of food, especially processed food, contains sugar and salt. That's it. And it has no balance to it. In order to deal with sugar for real, you really have to include plant fiber all throughout your entire diet because the plant fiber is going to go into your gut. It's going to balance things out. It's going to help your liver. It's going to do, the things that needs to be done in order to balance the glucose throughout your body. Also, intermittent fasting, you need to give your body a break. I would even say this because I just heard a fitness influencer talk about this. I watched this guy for years. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. My man had was pre-diabetic and was jacked. I'm talking about he was 245 pounds, whoa, just tight. And he was diabetic. And it's like, hold up, how did you get type 2 diabetes and be in shape? Isn't that against the rules? Don't we have that's not supposed to work like that. The thing was, as much as he consistently was eating in order to get to that weight and maintain that level of muscularity, he was constantly eating, he was constantly jacking up his glucose levels. So understand whenever you eat just about anything, your body's going to turn it into some level of sugar. I mean, that's you run off of sugar. So it's going to turn it into sugar. And then if it has extra, it's going to turn into fat. If it can go to protein, it's going to go to protein. Those are the macros. But if you're constantly eating, your body has to say, hey, we have to turn this into sugar first. And then we go to everything else. So if you're constantly eating, that's going to keep feeding that whole process of increasing your sugar. And I know a lot of people are like, intermittent fasting, that's starving. It's what your body needs. That's the reason why we go to sleep, just so you can stop eating. So, yeah, and be very careful with the foods that you're eating that are processed. So, once again, you can take all the herbs and supplements. You can take the greatest medical miracle drug or whatever. If you are downing it with Coca-Cola and fried Twinkies, I've never tried that. I've heard about that. I want to, but I'm scared at the same time. Because if somebody did an oatmeal cream pie, fried oatmeal cream pie, oh my god, oh, it's an oatmeal cream pie. Fiend when I was a kid. That was insane. That was insane. Great question, Sharon. Please go ahead, hit me up with any more questions. My name is Brian, aka Uncle B. This is Goodwood University. And we're talking about men's sexual health and the things that you need to know. Today, we're talking about stacking herbal supplements. and the things that you really need to pay attention to. And really, what it comes down to is that you want to figure out what works best for you. I do recommend trying different herbs. That's the reason why you go to um, givegoodwood.com. We have different herbs that are there. We also have the other things that are there in terms of helping out with your sleep. We have, we talk about being stress free. We have the coaching. We try to give all the things that you need in order for you to get better consistently. And that's the reason why we're doing this challenge. That's the reason why I am here during the month of March. And we're really just going through and like trying to help as many people as possible get the information that they need. I do want to give a shout out to Damon Wallace. And my man gave me a hint about garlic water a while ago. And I was like, garlic water? You? And come to find out it's actually good for you. And that's one of the things I also want to reiterate to a lot of people. We talk a lot about supplements, but the saying is for a reason, let your food be your medicine. Supplements are supposed to also supplement your foods. I mean, especially in the United States, I just found this out today. The grains that are in the United States are actually illegal around the world. I mean, not say around the world because we obviously export, but for a lot of countries, they won't even take our grains just because the way our grains are raised. And so because of that, we end up in a situation where we're not as healthy because we're eating bread and it's like, oh, this is supposed to be fine. Crackers, whatever, it's in everything. So if you go to a 7-Eleven, what you will find in there are got 5 ingredients: salt, sugar, wheat, corn, soy. And none of these are great for you. Not at all. Uh-huh. Okay. That's a great question. What herbs will offset each other and what herbs work well together? All right. So the things that you want to pay attention to, I mean, obviously, we're talking about, there are 250,000 edible plants on the planet, and we only use like roughly 4% of those. But even at 4%, that's a lot. So I don't want to go into everything, but just a general idea of what you should be paying attention to. Um, if you're trying to do something that stimulates you, you don't want to try to do something that calms you down at the same time. You're trying to figure out which goal you're getting, and you're also looking at the time of the day, and you're also looking at what length you're trying to go for. So let me go ahead and break that down a little bit more. What you're looking for in terms of, like, for example, Goodwood and Goodwood Advance, they're both stimulants. That's the reason why we tell you take it during the morning, the afternoon, and early evening, unless you're going to have sex or do some type of exercise, because it's a stimulant, it's going to keep you awake. So if you're taking something like ashwagandha, that's better for the evening time, because it will calm you down and allow you to be able to go to sleep while building up, helping to build your testosterone. And then we're talking about what time period that you're taking something for. So you want to be careful in terms of, we call it cycling. And, um, the reason why we, with good wood, because it has so many different herbs that work well together, you don't necessarily need to focus in on the cycling as much. But for certain herbs, there's a period of time that you need to take a break from it. There's so many different herbs to do that, but especially with some of the stronger ones. So, for example, one of the ingredients in good wood is yohimbe. Yohimbe is not an herb that you want to take by itself because it's an overstimulant. Let me say overstimulant, but it'll, for some people, it'll cause heart palpitations. They'll start sweating. They'll feel flushed. It's just a very powerful herb. It's a bark of a tree. But when it comes to what you need to understand for combining things, is like the reason why we have something like yohimbe and ginger in the same formula is because ginger helps with digestion, so it actually calms down the effect of yohimbe. So that's how they can work in combination. But if you're taking, we're talking about a particular pill, or not pill, if you're taking a particular capsule or a powder or something like that, you don't want to have something that's going to stimulate and something that's going to just calm you down at the same time, without understanding what's going to end up, the end result. What are you trying to do? That's really the question. What are you trying? It's like taking, you wouldn't drink coffee in the evening. It doesn't make any sense because now you're just going to be awake while you sleep. So you need to, pay attention to the directions. We have the internet, and so you can go ahead and go online and take a look and figure out what works best for the situation that you're in. I liken it to just working out. A lot of people are like, "Hey, I'm working out. I want to get to the best possible shape that I can be in, and what should I do?" It's like, well, hold up. When you say the best possible shape, for what? So for me, when it it's like, why do I work out? Is it to, be have the beach body and all this other kind of stuff? Yeah, that'd be nice, but it's a lot of work to do that. What rather be is just be fuckable. That's a good word. Just go ahead. I ain't gonna lie. This is your uncle over here. I ain't gonna lie about it. I'd rather just be fuckable, and to be able to fuck. So, I want to be able to look healthy, be healthy, and be able to perform at a healthy level. If you're trying to be a long distance runner, then you're not going to spend 4 or 5 hours a day in the gym. If you're trying to be a bodybuilder, you're not going to spend a lot of time, uh, you know, taking long runs. So you have to understand that. Yeah, yeah. K Dorsey gets that. Yes. My man. So yeah, great questions as always, people. Once again, this is Brian. This is Goodwood University Radio. Uh, we always talk about men's sexual health and the things that you need to understand. And yeah, guys, I do want you to focus in on your health for this month of March. That's the reason why we have Goodwood, the Goodwood Challenge, the Wood on Demand Challenge. We have the link below. Go ahead and sign up. You'll get into Goodwood University. One of the first things that we'll ask you to do is take our men's sexual performance quiz, and that will let you know where you are on that scale of 1 to 10. And I came up with this entire formula so that you could quickly figure out exactly where you are. Because if you're trying to improve, the incredibly crazy thing about getting healthy is you won't notice. It's just there. I mean, guess it's 6 years from 6 years ago. I was waking up, I was doing all the wrong things, just off. I was off the range completely. And I would wake up, it was a contest between my back, my knees, and my feet. Which one was gonna hurt today? And they were fierce competitors. Huh. You never knew. You never knew. I had carpal tunnel, dandruff, the skin was all messed up. And it was because my patterns were off. I was looking at Netflix all night. I was, going, hitting the McDonald's in the middle of the night. I was the chicken wings, the beer, all bad sleep. Everything was wrong, and it showed up. And that's what ends with it was the patterns. And this is the thing. I've been taking African Fly slash Goodwood for the last 23 years, and so I had a cheat code. I could get away with it all the way up until it's like, hey, bro, you too old for this. You've been doing this for too long. That's one of the things you have to recognize with age is like what actually did happens. Let me tell you what happens. You went to that football party. And then that other football party. Then it was that Super Bowl party, and it was that other party. Then you went to that club. You remember how many times you went to the club by the time you was 30? What? How many drinks you had by the time you was 30? By the time you was 40? By the time you 50? Oh my God, your body's like, nah, bruh. Let's see what happens today. You you was gonna eat a steak and you was gonna have a drink and you was gonna stay up all night. That's what happens when you wake up. It ain't gonna be cute. It ain't gonna be cute. Oh, you want a morning erection after all of that? No. Answer's no. So, that's the reason why you have to pay attention to your patterns and make sure you're getting everything in correctly. So, um, but yeah, 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 yeah. I'm over here pontificating, but I do want to get your questions in. So please go ahead and hop in. We're trying to set everything up so we can get a call in line so we can actually talk to you guys. I can talk to you directly and get your questions answered. But you can go ahead and check out the Goodwood Wood on Demand Challenge, because I think the most important thing out of that challenge is understanding exactly where you are on that scale of 1 to 10. Because I talk to a lot of guys and they never think of that. They just like say that, okay, my erections are not working. It's like, well, why is that? And they don't have a clear answer. And this will help you get a clear answer. And then once we have that answer, we have what we call the exponential energy formula, which is basically, being able to track what you do during the day every day in 5 different areas where we're talking about energy, sleep, exercise, intermittent fasting, and your soul, your stress level. And when you measure all 5 of those, you can figure out whether or not you're on the upward spiral or the downward spiral. If you don't have this information, basically you're on the downward spiral and may not know it. Uh-huh. All right. Hey, what's going on with you, Ty? All right, let's get into it. Over anxious about my size, which hinders performance. Gotcha, sir. So, um, a couple of things that people need to, especially men, need to understand about size is that women have size too. A lot of times we think that we need to. I've heard situations, I've experienced situations where you could just not match the other person's size. I had the situation where it was like I had to do a combination lock to get inside there because it was like, mm-mm. Well, I'm not going to get too graphic, but it was just it wasn't compatible. Then there's the other side of things where it's like, hey, I felt like I just jumped into an ocean. I was like, what? Does this thing have a bottom? It was not cute. It's your uncle talking. We getting real over here. Don't get anxious about it. I mean, if you're a lot of times we have people who, because of expectations, because of things that we see out there, we thinking that you have to be at a large size. And you could be a perfectly healthy size for you. And it's like, hey, unless you were, trying to be an extreme porn star or something like that, no one's expecting you to have that. Really, it's a matter of, and I've talked to a lot of women about this situation. I mean, there are women. This is an interesting thing. When they're younger and they've heard enough stuff, they'll sit there and tell you, "I need something," and it has to be at least 12 inches or something crazy like that. Until they experience 12 inches, it's like, no. Uh, to have older women sit there and like, nah, that you don't want to wake up in pain the next day. Um, and so I've heard guys talk about, they had relationship issues because he was too big and she just couldn't, deal with that. So don't worry about your size. That's not the thing that you need to worry about. What you need to worry about is your health. Uh, because as long as you can function, you get the right woman who fits your size. And by the way, this is so deep. There are actually cultures that before they matched a man and a woman, they actually did check out your size. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, in jolly old England back in the day, they went the opposite direction, and I don't know what's wrong with the people. This is dealing with the church, and when you have the head of the church of people who don't have sex, they come up with some ideas for you. They would actually like if a man and a woman weren't producing children, they would come in and actually watch you have sex. Yeah, this is porn. That's in real life. This is back in the day. They ain't have TV. And, the pictures weren't doing them justice. So they were like, yeah, you're not working out well. We're going to come in and watch and give you instructions. It's like, you ain't even having sex. How are you going to do that? Uh-huh. All right. Mr. TV, my size shrunk in terms of thickness. What things to do to get my size back? All right. So obviously I got a bunch of questions here. Um, And so typically the reason why you shrink in size is because of a lack of blood flow down there. And we talk about a lack of blood flow. Also, we're talking about testosterone because once again, the bursting and burning of testosterone is what uh, gives you an erection. And your erection game is a lose it or use it or lose it situation. And so, I do for guys, if you want to avoid masturbating or something like that, okay, at the very least, have erections on demand. Just think of something sexy so you can have blood flow going through there. You have to consciously do this because one of the things about our lifestyle right now is like we do what I'm doing right now. I'm sitting down. So my body is folded. How do I do this? Folded in half. And so right there in the middle is your Johnson, and it's like, well, it's not getting the blood flow it's supposed to get. We're not moving as much, all those different things. So we have to sort of make up for it. You know, masturbation is not an issue for me in terms of people saying, like, you shouldn't masturbate. I'm like, hey, you can masturbate and not have an orgasm. You can masturbate and not do it to porn. These are things where it's like just like any other blood part of your body, you need blood to move to that body. Just like, we're not talking obviously your 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 muscles and your biceps are different from your muscles in your penis. That's just a smooth muscle. This is connected to bone. But in order to get your muscle to grow, you have to move it. It has to be blood flow, and not even to get it to grow. To stay the same size, you have to have a level of blood flow going through there. So that's really important. And also recognize that it's called penis atrophy, and that's where your penis goes through a process of shrinkage. So imagine a 25-year-old healthy guy who plays football every weekend and something like that, and takes care of his body. Then imagine him at 85. Imagine what his nurse is saying when she's changing his diapers. It's like, hey, nothing there. Uh, because if you don't take care of your body, no matter how healthy you were in the beginning, that middle and that end part requires a different setup. Uh-huh. So, Ty, does jelking work? Yes. One of the things I want you to be careful with, though, is taking it too far, because the nerve endings in your penis are very sensitive, and if you do something down there, that could be uh, very detrimental. So when it comes to the penis pumps and things like that, I'm not an advocate. You can actually take care of that. It's really more important to take care of yourself, your entire body. So if you're at the gym and you're doing squats, you're doing deadlifts, you're doing, recently I started this whole process where I'm doing 500 squats, air squats a day, and my left thigh is burning. But the the whole idea is that you're moving your blood throughout your entire body. It has to be your entire body. Blood is just naturally going to go everywhere. And so the more movement that you're doing, the more blood flow that you're getting. What ends up happening when we're talking about shrinkage is that inside of your penis, the veins are the thinnest throughout the entire body. We're talking about one blood platelet is going through at a time. So if you don't have regular blood flow through there, just like any other part of your body, I mean, it's just going to start collapsing in on itself. It's going to start shrinking because it doesn't have that blood flow forcing its way, giving it the nutrients. And that's another thing. If you don't have the blood flow, you don't have the oxygen going down there. So if you're trying to regain your size, one, use good wood. So you can get just naturally more blood flow and more testosterone going down there. And two, yes, you do need to exercise. When I say exercise, it's important to understand what type of exercise we talk about. High intensity interval training, and that's because with that you're talking about we're just going to slam blood through high intensity interval trainings. Like basically you work for 30 seconds as hard as you possibly can, and then 30 seconds of rest, and then back to 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. You can do a pattern like that. It could be 20 seconds, 40 seconds, just whatever works for you. But the idea at the end of the day is just getting blood flow. Also, when you're lifting weights, when you're stressing your body's going to respond, especially while you're asleep. So if you're lifting weights, you're basically taxing your testosterone level, and your body's going to say, oh crap, we gotta repair because it's like we need more testosterone so we can go back out there and get some more food. That's the way our bodies are set up. It's not set up so we can do more exercise and go to the grocery store, but that's another conversation. But you want to tax your body, you want to get that weight. That weight is going to stress your bones. Actually, that calcium is going to be released from your bones. It's actually going to help your skin. Your body works in conjunction in a number of different ways. So the reason why I do the air squats is because it helps with your hips. It's working the biggest muscles in your body, and that's just going to feed other parts of your body. That's the way it all works. It's all in relationship. And also, one of the other things you want to think about, even with your size, and this is an interesting thing, with your size, is still a mentality to it. If you think that you're going to get smaller, If you think that getting smaller, getting weaker is a part of age, then over a period of time, you're going to start acting like that. And unfortunately, I see that too much with clients. I see that too much with relatives. I see it too much with friends where they just think, oh, I'm older and this is just what happens. Screw that. I mean, I haven't done this, but I probably could. I could go, race a bunch of my friends, lift against a bunch of my friends, in the same age range. I'm in, above 50. And, it's a question of why, if you can't do that, then you're running into a problem. You're going to run into problems faster. And, unfortunately, I know guys who have different illnesses. They got liver issues, they got diabetes, they got high blood pressure, got prostate issues. It starts piling up. So you want to focus in on getting healthy and staying healthy at, whatever age you are. Because the great thing about being a human is you get to live for a long time. The messed up part about being human, you get to live for a long time. So you got to figure out which one, which side of this equation are you going to be on the healthy side, or are you going to be on the side of somebody come get me? I'm letting everybody know right now. I let all my friends know. I let my relatives know too. If we in the same age group, do not look for me to come around like, hey, you know what? Because you ain't take care of yourself, I got to take you back and forth to the hospital. We got to wheel you around. Got to help you out the car because your hip don't work no more because you weigh 455 pounds. Nah, we ain't playing that. We ain't playing that at all. Do not play around with your health. This is not a game at all. That's the reason why we're here. This is the reason why we have Goodwood University, because I'm trying to spread all the good word. We already have enough people attacking us on different cultural levels. We don't need to mess up our own health. And once again, as always, what ends up happening, we're about to wrap up soon here, guys, is that, as I'm going off, we get questions coming in. So please go ahead and hit your questions right now. Once again, we do have the challenge going on. Hit the link below for that. Sign up. If you want to get that good wood, go ahead and try it out. Oh, by the way, GW15, Goodwood 15, GW15. If you go to Goodwood, givegoodwood.com, we'll go ahead and give you that 15% discount. Gloria. Thank you, Gloria. Appreciate it. Getting all winning trophies up in here. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back on tomorrow. Let me go ahead and look up what are we talking about tomorrow. We've been going through the whole process of making sure that we have some good content for you for this particular month because we're doing the Goodwood Challenge. And yep, we're going to be talking about reverse engineering erection loss. That's a good one. You do want to pay attention to that one. Reverse engineering erection loss. That is going to be on Wednesday. On Thursday, we're talking about your Goodwood score. We're going to be going over that particular thing. Once you join the Wit on Demand Challenge, that's one of the first things we do is we have you take the sexual performance test so we can so we can figure out what your score is and what that actually means for you. And then that's a Friday. Yep, that's Friday. The secret ingredient for erections is not what you think. We're going to have a mystery. So I want you to join us. We're going to be here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Uh huh. All right. So, good question here. There are two types of good wood. Which one is best for a 31-year-old guy? Okay. So let me go ahead and explain the difference between the two. So we have good wood and good wood advanced. Good wood. Uh, It has 8 different herbs that work in combination to increase your testosterone, your blood flow, so you have better erections, and it also works as an aphrodisiac, so you feel that pull, that desire. So that's just the basis. The Goodwood Advanced is for typically for older guys, but it can skew younger as well. This is because as we hit specifically, we're talking about when guys typically hit 40 to 50 years old, and of course beyond, your testosterone starts changing. It goes from your testosterone goes through a process called aromatase to turning into estrogen, and which is the reason why you will, as you hit 40 and 50, it becomes harder to get more muscle mass, to lose fat, and to maintain erections or even get erections. So we added stinging nettle to the Goodwood formula. And that has been shown through studies through NIH that it will actually help you keep more testosterone. So, Goodwood will help you uh, get that testosterone naturally. Your body will develop the testosterone based off the herbs that you're absorbing and that blood flow. But that stinging nettle added on top of that will actually help you keep more of that testosterone, especially as you age. Now, does that matter for you at 31? Depends where you are on the sexual performance scale. If and because with the scale that we talk about is sort of skewed at this point because of the lifestyle. Everyone across the planet, men's testosterone levels are going down, and this is because of the lifestyle. We're talking about the things that we're experiencing right now. We got the lights going on, we got cameras, we got the blue lights, all these different things. So we're not having the level of testosterone that we're supposed to have. That your grandfather, your great grandfather had more testosterone than you. Your great grandfather had way more testosterone than you. Right now, they're saying that 800 is normal. Just 100 years ago, 1200 was normal. If you think that, I mean, think about this. We look back at history and we're like, these dudes were doing some crazy stuff. You look at the Romans, you look at, just because we have history on this, you look at what the guys were doing back then, carrying huge shields and armor, and stuff was rusty, and horses and wooden wheels and everything like that, and they would march like 100 miles or something like that, regular. Man, that's great if you got 1500 testosterone levels. If you got 800, you suck. I mean, think about this. A 10-year-old boy has 70 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone. Could you imagine a 10-year-old boy carrying a shield and the big sword and with a helmet on and whatever provisions that they needed to carry and do all that stuff, get to a certain point, and you have, a good 6 to 12 hours to get ready to go start killing people? We ain't doing that 9 days. So yeah, yeah. Your testosterone level is can be affected now, especially earlier. I'm dealing with guys who have issues earlier on. So if you're at 31 and you're not as healthy as you possibly could be, yeah, you may need some Goodwood Advance. It costs more. But if you want, that cost savings. If you're healthier, it's sort of like insurance. If you're healthier, it costs less. It's just the way it is. Got another question here. Ah, all right. That is an interesting one. All right. Hey, Doc. Only play a doctor on YouTube. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Do not kick me off of YouTube too. Jesus. My sperm is really watery. I don't have the thick white sperm no more. What's wrong? And what do I do to get that back? All right. We have to make a distinction between sperm and cum. Sperm is the actual wiggly things that are inside uh, inside the cum, and it sounds like you're talking about the cum. Your cum is really watery. Um, that could be for a variety of reasons. If it's watery, it's mean it's more active. You have actually have more of the fluid, the seminal fluid that's in there, and your sperm count should be relatively the same. So, uh, typically, if it's more watery, it's because you're ejaculating less often and you built up more cum. If it's thicker, it's because you're coming more often through masturbation or whatever you're doing, and that is what's happening. So if it's more watery, unless it's like something spectacularly off. I mean, we're not doing a diagnosis here. Uh, then you should be okay. It's just a difference. Just pay attention to, once again, what your patterns are. Whenever someone tells me they have an illness, my first question is, well, what is your pattern? What have you been doing for the past 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years? What's been going on? Once you start understanding that, you start getting an idea of where you could be, what the issue may be. So the reason why we teach that is so you can have a better way of understanding yourself or diagnosing yourself. We're not talking about a self-diagnosis that you compare to a doctor. We're talking about understanding yourself and being able to start correcting the issues that you have. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. If you got some more, hit me back in the comment section. One more from Ty. Thoughts on your hembe? Your hembe is, and let's be specific. Your hembe is a bark of a tree. Uh, what they ended up doing, when I say they, I mean the pharmaceutical industry, is what they normally do. They take something from nature, synthesize it so they can replicate it and sell it at a much higher price. And so the actual chemical name for with the active chemical within yohimbe is called yohimbine. They actually call yohimbine the same thing. That's the medical side of it. If you take yohimbine straight, if you take your hembe straight, it's very powerful. It can cause some issues. If you're taking your hembean, it's off the charts issues. Your hembe, the actual bark of the tree, it'll, if you're not, your body's not ready for it, you just on some, what's going on? You want to be very careful with that. So, once again, the reason why we have your hembe within Goodwood and Goodwood Advance is because we have it with other herbs so we can balance it out. Uh huh. So cool, cool, cool. Hey, Ali. Hope you're doing well. Is also doing well, sir. Appreciate it, appreciate it. Yeah, all right. But yeah, we're coming up on an hour. We will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Goodwood University with Uncle B. We will be talking about what we always talk about this time of the day. Making sure your body functions correctly, especially your erections, because we understand that yeah, what makes the world go round? Well, if you want to have humans in it, you need to have sperm. You need to have, women make what you are, men make who you are. A woman is going to have a human child. Whether or not that human child is a male or a female is dependent upon the male and his XY or XX chromosome, whichever one of those sperm cells won the race. So we need for you to be able to function. Uh-huh. All right, Jacksonville, Florida. What's going on, C? Appreciate you, man. Good to see you again. All right. So yeah, we will be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be talking about how to reverse engineer erection loss. Please tune in for that. If you haven't done it already, hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell. Go ahead and go into the comment section, hit me up and let me know any other questions. I'll be answering that offline. Also, yeah, join us in on that challenge so you can challenge yourself to get better within 30 days. That's what we're doing. So wonderful. Hey, it's been a pleasure. I always enjoy doing this, and we're going to be doing it again. So this is Brian, aka Uncle B, Goodwood University podcast, radio, TV, however you want to call it. This is what we do. And as always, get your game up and go hard. Peace out.